Roger, Roger. Yeah, you can just search your call sign, man, and it'll bring you to my YouTube channel. And you're sounding real choice down here.
Okay. Yep, I've got Radio 17 out there in the southeast corner of South Dakota. There's not a whole lot of stations up here anymore, but conditions are really running there real nice right now. So, back to you.
Yes, sir. These conditions are. I mean, they're running good right now. Mother Nature's got that skirt up, man, and she's letting us play. I got this little old Galaxy DX 959 on that Silver Eagle 200 and that Predator 10K antenna. But, man, what kind of antenna did you say you had there up there?
I have a PDL2 that I pulled the schematics off of the internet with. I used to have one a long time ago. It came down in an ice storm. And then I went up to the local recycling center where they take different aluminums and stuff like that. And I was able to buy a bunch of aluminum radials real cheap. And some aluminum masking. I think maybe I might have $40 or $50 into the antenna itself. I got more into the coax than I do that, but I put it all together, almost all out of recycled aluminum, except for the antenna match part. I made that out of copper, but I even made my own tuning rods. So maybe back to the breakfast yet.
Hey, roger that on $50 on that antenna and tuning rod yourself, man. I definitely want to do something like that. I want to get me a little home base set up, and so I can be able to talk while I'm there at the house, messing around on my computer and whatnot.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun making that from scratch. That was quite an adventure because I had to make my own mounting brackets and stuff for the gamma match rods, and then it was really quite remarkable. I took my PDL2 when it wasn't hooked to nothing, and I laid it on the ground and pointed it directly up in the air, like they said to do, and I was able to tune my antenna laying on the ground, pointed straight up in the air. My SWRs are between 1.1 to 1 and 1.2 to 0.
Man, that's amazing. My SWRs, they go from, I think right here on 28, it's 1.3. Hang on, let me flip this on over and I'll check it. Oh, yeah, it's a 1.3 down here in Texas, man.
A cup of coffee. It won't take a couple minutes, sure, to fall that water. Yeah, and then I switch it over on my dual polarity like this. I don't know if it made any difference or not, but my SWRs are 1.3 to 2, which that's still really good for running both vertical and horizontal at the same time.
Oh, so that's vertical and horizontal antennas going through the same cable. Is that what you're saying there?
Yeah, I had it switched over in just a few minutes there, and I was running both polarities. I got a switch box that allows me to run either vertical, horizontal, or I can run my auxiliary antenna, which is a 5/8 wave, ground plane, or I can run both vertical and horizontal on the beam at the same time.
How's the receive on with both of those antennas like that, man?
My receive really doesn't change if I go dual polarities.
Okay.
But if I change and go to a vertical versus a horizontal polarity, it'll drop a dB about 3 dBs. And then if I go from my beam down to my auxiliary antenna, which is that 5/8 wave, my signal will drop from a 9 down to almost a 2.
Roger, I just watched it drop from a 9 to a 2. Oh shit.
Yeah, that might be conditions a little bit there, but see now there I jumped back on my vertical and horizontal, so I got both polarities running at the same time. The advantage of that is if you got somebody else on a base antenna that has a beam with dual polarities and they happen to be talking flat side, you can still pick them out just like you would be if you were on just the one, so.
Okay, I got you. Hey man, you're starting to bump it up over here. You're 9x20.
Yeah, some of that's conditions, and like I said, I just switched it over. I'm running both polarities now. Both dual polarities. Let me switch it back over and see if it makes a difference. Okay, now there I'm just running the horizontal, horizon, whatever. And then here's my other, this is my other one here. And now that probably dropped it down considerably.
It actually dropped it down and then it brought you back up, man. You were a steady 5 and then you switched it and it dropped down to 3 and it brought you came back up to like a 3 or 4.
Yep, now I switched it back and now it should be back up there probably to between a 7 and a 9 or whatever.
Yes sir, you're right at 7x9.
Yeah, that's pretty good considering all I'm talking on is just a DX94 HP Galaxy. I don't have any amplifiers. It's got 50 built in, which is what I'm running out right now. I'm running about 45, I guess, from the looks of it, but my audio has got to be pretty close to 100%, if not more.
Man, for a barefoot radio on 50 watts, that's crazy that antenna can make that much difference, man, because like I told you earlier, I'm out here on that 200 watts, and I don't know how I'm sounding up there on your end, but man, you're killing it down here in Texas.
Yeah, my toys are all in the shop. I was hard on them. I got a 50 and a 100, and then I got a dual polarity 50 or 500 1000. Hey, but they're all down right now.
Hey, but sometimes what's that old saying? You got to pay to play, and sometimes I know I can be long-winded, man, and old lady gets mad at me. Hey, shut your damn mouth. Let the thing cool down for a minute.
Yeah, I like running that 100 or more, that dual, that 50, that 500 or that 1000. That 500 and 1000, that's got a real nice preamp, so that'll bump a signal almost 4 dBs on the receive amp.
Hell yeah. Man, you just cleaned out this receive. You picked this little old Galaxy's meter off onto that side.
Yeah, it's a good thing this thing's got a built-in frequency counter, because that way I keep a better eye on it. I need to get a frequency counter for when I run my regular bass that I usually run, which is my usual is just a little 40-channel sideband Royce 1641 with a D104 Golden Eagle for the microphone, but it's in the shop too.
Man, did you get mad at it, or I mean, what happened there? Why is that one in the shop too?
When my 100-watt amp went out on me, I had a solder joint inside on the tuning element that came loose, and when it came loose, it hit a diode and it put a bunch of power back into the radio and through the coax.
Oh man. stuff did it go through?
Well, I think it just took out maybe the driver or the final on it, but the guy, kind of a friend of mine that I've known for about 35 years, and so, but I haven't talked to him for almost 30 years, and I finally found out where he'd moved to and stuff, and he's a technician, but he also has a whole bunch of other stuff that he does in the summertime, so getting things worked done in the summertime is a little bit slow compared to the wintertime, but it's considerably cheaper than taking it into a radio shop.
Roger that, man. We have a local guy here that does all the radio work, and my radio, because I like talking sideband on 38, but I'm way off frequency on this radio. So my brother gave me a RCI 2950, and I got to order a mic and whatnot for that. And I think I'm going to use that as my base setup. But with your antennas there, do your neighbors complain about bleed over or anything like that?
No. Matter of fact, my wife would be sitting upstairs watching TV, and she doesn't see any lines or anything on it. We've got city cable TV. We got not city, but local cable TV, and I don't have any problems with any type of stray signals. But then again, when I bought coax for this, it's like I was saying, my coax it cost me more for my coax than it did my bead, because I'm running what they call LMR 400 coax, which is 95% shielding, and it's got a solid center lead. And the solid center lead, I think, is like a 10-gauge wire, copper wire. So I don't get any leakage from it at all.
Oh man, and one more time on the wire. I mean, I got this video still rolling, but what was that wire called one more time so I can write it down?
Yeah, the coax that I bought was LMR 400. It's $1 a foot.
Oh, that ain't too bad, man. I mean, I guess if you're running over a long length, it can get rather expensive, but as I said earlier, man, gotta pay to play.
Yeah, they is. Well, that's why everything that I've got in the shop is all old school. They're all tube sets. The ones that use pills any day of the week, because they have PEP wattage, and they have more audio output.
Does anybody make an amplifier nowadays that takes tubes for the mobile, or is it all just the old stuff that you can find online?
Sorry, that interrupted me just a little bit there, but you were asking if anybody made what now?
Amplifiers with tubes in them? Do any of the builders, do they build the amps with amplifiers? I mean, with the tubes?
I don't think that you can find any new amplifiers now that have tubes that they run off of it, unless it's actually like in a ham set that has the built-in amplifiers.
Roger. Hey, man, these conditions are weakening over here on my end, or I'm getting some locals, one of the two. So I'm going to stand back on the side, let this old girl cool down for a minute, and I'll holler back at you in just a few minutes after she cools down. She's getting kind of toasty.
Radio mine's got the built-in fans in it. As soon as it starts getting hot, they kick on. And then that 50 and 100, that had a fan cooler in it. That was an 8-tube. Well, you got
Roger. This one, man, I gotta take a break every now and again. It's down there by my AC vent on the floorboard. But obviously I'm long-winded enough to make that bitch all burn up, man. I mean, she's pretty toasty. I could probably cook an egg on it right now.
You fix one of that, or? Yeah, now that's a transistor.
Yes, sir. It definitely is a transistor. It's a little old 2-pill transistor, Silver Eagle.
That got a cooling fan in it?
It does not. I went to Walmart and I bought me a little old, I say little, it's probably a 5-inch fan that I have. I didn't have it blown on it. I forgot to turn it on, but I just kicked it on, so I gotta let it cool down for a little bit anyway.
Yeah, in my 100, if I'm running that one, I don't have the internal fan, but I got two little, inch and a half by, 2-inch fans. Two little 12 volt. About 280, man. Just get in a hurry and do stuff. You have to run. Man, you can let your equipment cool off, and I don't know if this one's getting warm yet or not. It usually doesn't. Oh, yeah, it's getting a little bit warm, but it usually doesn't unless I get on sideband, because sideband's just double the power, but I just really don't care for sideband.
Roger that. Once I get this thing tuned in, I mean, I like sideband just because, you know, it takes less power to make contacts out there, man. And you can get a lot further contacts on sideband, and not everybody's trying to fight for the channel, so on and so forth.
Well, either you just stuck your standby or else a little bit there, but I did hear just part of why you don't really care for sideband. It's too hard to carry on a conversation with more than one person at a time unless they're all three exactly on the right frequency. That's the reason I sold it to about
Yeah, for sure on that one. It's definitely hard. That's what I was telling you with my radio being off frequency, man. You know, I get some contacts, but they got to have a radio that's able to tune down to my frequency and transmit on a different frequency to be able to have a conversation with me.
Sure does. Requires you slap out. Yeah, I was just reaching down underneath my radio to see how warm that is. That heat's pretty warm too. Hey, as a matter of fact, you can't hang on to it. Maybe we better just take a short pause for the cause here and let this fan cool this one off too.
Roger, Roger. Well, we'll be standing by, man, reading the smell out here.
Yeah.